Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, therefore I apologise in advance if I stumble over my words going forwards, and indeed if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2021 related video here on my channel, and today I am going to be telling you my first prediction for the results of the first semi-final of this year's upcoming Eurovision Song Contest, which is scheduled to take place next month at the Ahoy in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Now, I have my other notice board in front of me, and I've pinned up all the slips of paper, which is something that I've been doing for the past couple of years, and I've made a few notes as well. I'll hold it up in a second, and I'm just going to go through each country in the first semi-final and tell you whether I think it's in with a chance of going through or not. I will say this, do not take it too seriously. My opinions will inevitably change, and I have to say I'm a little bit surprised at some of the countries I've put down as non-qualifiers here. But I've spent a couple of days going backwards and forwards over how the juries might rank the songs, how the public will rank the songs, merging those results together, if you see what I mean. Then thinking about sort of neighbourly voting, countries that maybe will suffer because their geographical neighbours can't vote for them in the semi-finals, all of that stuff, including previous year's results. You know, is there a country in the first semi-final, for example, that doesn't usually qualify but maybe this year is a serious contender? All of that stuff. So I'm going to go through it in just a moment. Once we get the rehearsal footage next month, it is inevitable that our thoughts and opinions will change a little bit, or indeed dramatically. For example, there's a country here, I don't know, that at the moment I think is probably going to miss out, but by this time next month, I might be saying they're definitely going through. That's what Eurovision is like. Your opinions can change very quickly. I've seen quite a few other people make their predictions for semi-final 1 and indeed semi-final 2 as well. Now it's my turn. What I'm probably going to do is film another video like this towards the end of this month, and then my final predictions will be made the day before each semi-final. So on the Monday for semi-final 1, this is during the week of Eurovision, and on the Wednesday for semi-final 2, and then on the Friday for the grand final. And then I won't change those predictions at all. That's what I'll be going with into the live show. As I've been doing for the past few years, all being well, I'll be filming my live reaction to the results too, including the grand final, but we'll see. So, how am I going to do this? I think the best thing to do is to just go through in a random order the qualifiers. Shall I do it in a random order? No. What I'll do is I'll do it from 1st to 10th. So, obviously, we have some definite qualifiers. Now I say definite with quotation marks because you can always end up looking like a bit of a fool. You can say a country is very likely to progress and then they don't, and then you look like an idiot. But I feel very confident about these first few nations. As always, let me know what you think. Leave comments if you so wish, and check out my other social media pages. Links as always in the description. So, qualifier number 1, finishing in 1st place. My prediction as of this moment in time is Malta. Malta are going to cruise through. It's not often we can say that, but over the past few years they've turned a corner. They've always taken Eurovision quite seriously, but now it's almost as if there is this real desire to win, more so than we've ever seen before from them. And of course, Malta has never won. They've done all right in junior Eurovision, but in the grown-up contest, results have been a little bit more mixed. Michaela in 2019 was a big fan favourite. She opened the grand final. That's always tough. It was a decent performance, but she ended up in mid-table, really suffering in the public half of the results. Had last year's contest gone ahead, it would have been Destiny with All of My Love, a really polished pop song, would surely have made the final and done well. Destiny is back, the former junior Eurovision winner, with Je me casse, which is this sassy pop song. I won't talk about the songs in too much detail because I've spoken about them plenty of times already. We all know them very well by now. This is going through. I don't see any scenario in which Destiny messes up on the night or the performance isn't really slick. It's very likely to win this semi-final, or at the very least finish in the top 3. This could be Malta's best ever Eurovision result. if it wins. We know that the staging is probably going to be quite playful. The music video is, of course. Destiny's going to nail the vocals. She's so young, but so accomplished as a performer. It's really, really impressive. So confidently done. And there's going to be a ton of jury love for this. It's got this sort of new swing feel to it. But as I've said before on this channel, where Malta has suffered in the past is in the public half of the results. Year after year after year. Are we going to see it again this year in Rotterdam? It's very possible. That's the only thing, perhaps, stopping Malta from winning. Because like I said, the staging is probably going to be bang on the money. Destiny, great. She doesn't need to worry about a damn thing. But it's getting those public votes. Is Malta going to get votes from all of the other nations in the final? Because this is definitely going to qualify. I'd love to see Malta win, I really would. I think they'd absolutely embrace hosting something like Eurovision. It would be a huge deal for them. But it's all about those public points. Let me know what you think. Likely to be the jury winner here, although Sweden might have something to say about that, of course. And definitely top 5 in the public half of the results. Anyway, enough on Malta. I'm wary of rambling in this video. Second place, Lithuania. Maybe a little bit too high, you might say, but I think this is cruising through as well. It's going to open the first semi-final, whereas Malta will close it. And this is the Roop with Discotheque. It's such a striking number to get things going. We've got that choreography. They'll almost certainly be wearing those yellow outfits again. It's quirky, it's fun, it's catchy, it's sort of new wave, disco pop. It reminds me of the Pet Shop Boys a little bit. Absolutely fantastic. On Fire had a much warmer fan response. Discotheque slightly less so. Now maybe that's because we were expecting something a little bit like this from the Roop, I don't know. I think it's just as good, if not better, than last year's effort. The juries, I think, will appreciate its originality, but maybe won't go gung-ho for this. Whereas the public, a lot of people will be seeing and hearing this for the first time, and I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. They'll find it interesting, maybe a bit funny, they'll dish out a few points. Ireland, I'm telling you right now, I may as well put some money on this, the Irish public will almost certainly give Lithuania 12 points. So that's some points already in the bag. It's going through, we don't need to worry about it. I've put it second for now. That's 2 qualifiers down. And 2 nations who do not always progress. But this year, definite qualifiers. I think we can probably say that at this moment in time. Qualifier number 3, Sweden. Sweden has not missed out on the final since 2010 and hasn't not finished in the top 3 of a semi-final since that year as well. Absolutely remarkable, Sweden's track record. They are the country to beat more often than not. This is Tusse with Voices, great, young, up-and-coming male soloist, very confident, smashing voice. It's going to be a copy and paste from Melfest. Why fix it if it ain't broken? Sweden know what they're doing. Even the camera angles are probably going to be the same. The colour scheme, all of it. He's going to be wearing the same red suit. The same dancers. We know what we're going to get. They don't need to change anything. The problem here is that while this song has a powerful message and it's powerfully performed, and hopefully that message will come across quite well in Rotterdam, what else is there about this song that makes you think it's going to be a winner? I do not think Sweden will win this year. I think it will be up there, and the juries, this song is pure jury bait. They're going to go nuts for it. The public, less so. And I think that's because there's nothing much to grip onto with this song. There's nothing that striking about it. Visually, maybe it isn't that appealing. You put it next to Malta and Lithuania, which one would you rather watch? But anyway, Sweden are going through. I can't believe there are people online saying otherwise. This is obviously going to progress as far as I'm concerned. Qualifying number 4 is Cyprus. Pure pop. Elena Sagrinou with El Diablo. I've seen an image from her live on tape performance, which every country has to do this year, of course, in case they can't travel to the Netherlands. which would be very unfortunate. But it seems as though she's going to have a couple of dancers on stage, this devil theme, which makes sense, El Diablo meaning the devil, as long as it's not going down the Fuego route. We don't need another Fuego. We need something that's its own beast. I'm sure Elena will sing quite well. She's got this whole Lady Gaga vibe going on. People online have said that as well. And it's a fine pop song. I don't see it missing out, but let me know what you think. Maybe fourth in this semi-final is a little bit high. We do have quite a few up-tempo songs to come. And is this, you know, besides Malta, is this the one that's probably going to stand out the most? I don't know. It's sort of midway through the show. We'll see. Qualifier number... what's this? Number 5. Not too sure about this one. But I also can't, at this moment in time, see this country missing out. It's Romania. Amnesia by Roxanne. Roxanne, I'm going to say it again, another promising young musician. And her voice is really delicate. It's really good. And Amnesia is a fine song. However, it doesn't really build up that much. It's quite a low-key song, very intimate. And I think this song will work very well in Rotterdam, actually, because it's not going to be a jam-packed audience. So we are going to get that intimacy come across quite well, I think. The only issue is that it is sandwiched between two much more up-tempo songs, songs that visually are probably going to live longer in the memory. Staging will be absolutely key for Romania this year. They might try and recreate some of the music video a little bit. I don't really know. It would be a great shame if Romania miss out. Of course, didn't qualify in Tel Aviv, didn't qualify in Lisbon, so Yodel It in Kiev. It's the last time Romania made the final, top 10 that year. This could be a return to form. Alcohol You, I personally think, is the better song, but obviously that will never end up on the Eurovision stage. Roxanne thankfully will. Amnesia is fine, but I don't know, people might just get bored by it and forget it. That's why staging is really important, because otherwise this will be brushed aside in favour of something more memorable. However, I've got it down as a qualifier for now. Qualifier number 6, Azerbaijan. This is Effendi with Matahari. There's nothing wrong with this song at all, apart from the refrain. It's just Matahari repeated a couple of times over this ethnic, slightly oriental sounding beat. And then we have that sort of manic finale where things really build up. We had that with Cleopatra, last year's effort as well. A lot of people are comparing the two songs. They're not quite the same, but very much in the same mould. And Effendi, I don't really know about her live vocals, so I won't judge. But in the music video, she looks good and she sounds good in the studio cut. And I imagine they'll try and recreate some of the music video on stage as well. So a couple of dancers, it'll be sexy and sultry, and maybe there'll be flames and pyros. I'm expecting pretty impressive staging for this. I know that she had quite big staging ideas for last year before the contest's cancellation. Yeah, Azerbaijan, it's not often they don't qualify. It's only happened once, I think, 2018. So this is going through as far as I'm concerned. Then we have qualifier 7. Now maybe this is a few places too high, but the more I think about it, the more I feel as though this is very likely to go through. And what a fantastic result it would be for Ireland. This is Maps by Leslie Roy. Last year, Story of My Life had this sort of slightly pop-punk thing going on, very mid-2000s, very chart-friendly. This is the grown-up sibling of last year's song. Maps is great. It has this euphoric, uplifting feel to it. Music video's smashing as well, but we can't vote on that. Leslie, she performed this in Dublin a couple of weeks back, but she was miming, I believe. So I'm still I think she might have performed this live by now. I need to check it out if so. But I'm waiting for those live vocals. I'm sure she'll nail this. She's very enthusiastic about the contest, really likeable figure. And this is a really smashing song. There's nothing really to fault about it whatsoever. I'd love to see Ireland progress late on in the first half of this first semi-final. That's a very cushy spot in the running order. Hopefully the votes will pour in. More jury love than public love, perhaps. I can see her atop this podium. She has said she's going to be alone on stage, which I think is great, because she doesn't really need anybody else. She can carry a song like this, no problem. So that's Ireland. Qualifier number 8. Israel. Aidan Elena with Set Me Free, another promising young female musician. Aidan has an absolutely sensational voice. In the revamped version, she's hitting these high notes that can shatter glass, and if she manages to do that live, woof, that's many points already secured. Set Me Free is a bit of a pop banger, although you could say Azerbaijan's more of a banger. You could say that some songs in semi-final 2 definitely stand out more in the banger category than this Israeli entry. But it's quite polished. It's a decent pop effort. They've sort of increased the bass sound of it. However, they seem to have removed, definitely, the most catchy part of the original version. Not to worry. I imagine there'll be dancers. It'll be a very confident performance, no doubt about it. And I think this will be well liked by the jury and the public. I don't think we're going to have much of a discrepancy with this one. And Israel does usually go through these days, hence why I've put it down as a qualifier in 8th place. How well it would do in the final, I really don't know. It's all about those high notes. But to be honest, they add very little to the song. The song is perfectly fine without them. But anyway, qualifier number 9 is Song 9, Norway. This is Fallen Angel by Tix. Now, we've had plenty of time to accept the result of this year's Melodi Grand Prix, where Tix beat out Monument by Kano. Now, I will say this. If it was Kano going to Eurovision again this year, Monument and all of that business, they'd be going through. However, Fallen Angel, I'm not too sure about. The staging, I've said this before, I don't like it. I can understand what he's trying to do. It's cheesy. I don't like it. The wings on his back. I read somewhere the other day that he might have LED wings on his back. Okay, interesting. His voice isn't too bad. But this song, as much as it's playing it safe, which is fine, you can sort of predict where the melody is going, it's so bland. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, you just wish there was a bit more to this song. It's awfully generic. It's the most plain song we've had in years, perhaps. I think that this might go through because he seems to have quite a bit of support. He's huge in Norway, but they can't vote for him. And I think people might just gravitate towards the familiarity of this song, if you see what I mean. I'm thinking in terms of the melody, knowing where it's sort of building up to. I don't know. He's the only male soloist in the second half of this first semi-final, and he's on quite early in that second half, which does surprise me. Maybe that's a telling sign from the running order deciders, I don't know. It's growing on me. I don't love it. I don't think I'll ever love it. Norway was my favourite last year. This just feels like a bit of a letdown. But he was always a serious contender to win MGP anyway, because he's such a big star in his homeland. Anyway, enough rambling. The 10th qualifier. Might just leave that for a second. Let's go through the songs that I think won't qualify, going from last to 12th. North Macedonia in last place. I don't see any other scenario, I'm sorry to say it. Vasil with Here I Stand, this grand, theatrical, emotionally charged ballad where he's leaning back, belting it out. Unless there is unprecedented jury love and a phenomenal amount of public votes, this isn't going through. It might be the only song where we can say NQ for sure. It's a big moment for Vasil. He's clearly thrilled at the prospect of doing Eurovision. He was very emotional in the music video, which was a little bit cheesy, let's be honest, but he had he had an orchestra. And yeah, lovely guy, glad he's fulfilling a dream, but the song, just a bit disappointing. We've heard it all before. Then, Australia. Oh, can you believe it? Second last in the first semi-final, you might be thinking, what are you talking about? But yes, when I was working this out, thinking of the jury results, the public results, Australia, right near the bottom, Montaigne with Technicolor. I can't believe it. Because when I listen to this song, I think, this is great. It's so different. It's in this hyper-pop style. Montaigne's bopping away with these two other scantily clad women in the middle of a cricket ground, because why not? In front of a crowd. Unbelievable. There's such an energy and urgency. It's got this really sort of throbbing synth beat. It's fantastic. It stands out an absolute mile. It's in the first half of this first semi-final. It's going to be very vibrant. I think people might end up being a bit blown away by the rehearsals. Remember Zero Gravity? Yes, indeed. Something similar might happen again. You never know. But at the same time, I'm looking at the other countries here, and I can just see people going for those other songs more. Even the jury, who we know in the past have really loved Australia. This year, less so. It could be the Aussies' first NQ. Let me know your thoughts on that. I think Technicolor is a good song, though. I really do. I'd like to see it progress. But in such a tough semi-final, I'm thinking it's unlikely. Still, second to last, I was surprised by that. But anyway, moving up one, Slovenia. This is Amen by Anna Soklic. 2 songs called Amen this year, of course. The other one's Austria. This is maybe the one that stands a better chance of getting lots of points. Could be a jury darling, by which I mean it could be the one that takes us all by surprise and the juries go nuts for it. Great vocals. Anna doesn't need anybody else. She's totally in control of this song. She belts it out. She'll nail it live in Rotterdam. You just know she will. We don't need to worry about that. The staging will be simple, perhaps a bit too static, but it is a ballad, so not really a surprise there if that's the case. Yeah, I really do like this song. Again, nothing really to fault, is there? But it's on second. It's in between 2 more visually appealing songs, perhaps. Certainly songs that are going to stand out probably a lot more. Lithuania and Russia. More on Russia in a minute. But yeah, Slovenia. I mean, last year, had the contest gone ahead, Voda would not have gone through and would have probably finished last in the first semi-final. This is in with a much better chance. It's very uplifting, very powerful. It's the sort of thing you'd expect the juries to go mad for, but it's in a really tough semi-final. Hence why I think it's missing out at this moment in time. Then we have Russia. Russian Woman by Manisha. So this is 11, 12, 13th place for Russia. You're probably thinking, ridiculous, this is going through easily. But I'm not too sure. It's a very different sound for Russia. Remember that hastily organised national final. Quite traditional. Lyrics in Russian. We've got that chant section as well. It's not really a song that flows very nicely, I would say. It's sort of several songs stitched together almost. But it's not bad. I like Manisha. Really confidently performed this song at the national final. She's likeable, sassy. She was in that red outfit, just sort of strutting about and, you know, having a bit of a boogie. That was great. I imagine we're going to get something similar in Rotterdam. I don't think the juries are going to like this. They might find it a bit too messy, maybe even a bit too silly. That would be harsh. But I think Russia's problem here is getting the jury votes, not the public votes. Although saying that, no Belarus this year, so that's 24 points unlikely to go Russia's way, of course. Yeah. I really don't know. Russia is one that I'm very much on the fence about. Until we see that rehearsal footage, I can't really say for sure. None of us can, of course. But it's a very difficult one to predict. Russia almost always go through. But this year, with this song, No Little Big, I don't know. In 12th place, Ukraine. What? Ukraine and Russia missing out in the same year? What drugs have you been taking? That's probably what you're thinking. But no. Ukraine. Now, Ukraine always go through. Australia always go through. Could this year change things? I don't know. Very possible. It's very possible. This is Goe with Shum, which means noise. It's in Ukrainian. It's a very different song. It's in this white noise singing voice. And it builds up, and then it just gets really manic indeed. So much so, I think people might be put off by it. They might find it irritating. They might find the melody a bit jarring. This isn't a funny song, but it's that sort of entry where people might look at it, listen to it, and think, what on earth is going on here? And have a little bit of a chuckle, if you see what I mean. I can absolutely appreciate what this song is trying to do. I can appreciate it 100%. I really don't mind it. I can listen to it and enjoy it for what it is. Great vocals. But in a tough semi-final, is this going to go through? At this moment in time, I don't think so. I'm very much on the fence about it. If it does go through, I imagine it will be by a fairly narrow margin. More public support than jury support. Absolutely, I can see that happening. I just feel like the juries this year will gravitate towards the songs that are playing it a bit safer. Maybe aren't doing anything too wild or different. So, yes, I think the juries will love Malta because they usually do, but I think they'll love Sweden, which is quite a plain sort of song. Even the Irish entry, you know, there's nothing incredibly different or original about that song. It's just really good. So the juries might go big for that one as well. Anyway, really rambling here. I've got to shut up. But the Ukraine entry. If Ukraine go through, Russia might not. And if Russia go through, Ukraine might not. But then you've got so many other borderline qualifiers, it's unbelievable. So we're down to the final two. And if you've been paying any sort of attention, you'll know that the last two countries left are Belgium and Croatia. So, which one do you think would go through out of those two? Which one would you rather have? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd rather have Belgium. However, I think Croatia are going to go through instead. So that is why Croatia, 10th place here, Belgium number 11. It might be a very close run thing. The Belgian entry, Hooverphonic, with the wrong place, massively experienced band, not going to be phased at all by the Rotterdam stage. Apparently the staging is going to be quite atmospheric, which I'm really looking forward to as well. This is going to be such a difficult song to stage well, because it's not super upbeat and it's not really, really low key. It's sort of in the middle. So you've got to get it right. I can see a smoke machine, sort of warm orange lights maybe. We'll see. This is better than Release Me, certainly. It's more memorable than Release Me. Different female lead singer as well, it's worth saying. It's just a really chilled out song, a very different vibe, and I think people might appreciate that. This is not a bad song by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't know if it's going to leave much of an impact, particularly in the public half of the results. The people watching this might just think, boring, move on to the next one. Whereas the juries should, by all means, give this some love. But will it be enough? I think you need at least 100 points to qualify. So if Belgium get 75 from the juries, they'll need at least 25 from the public. And I'd assume Hooverphonic would get that many. 25 isn't much. But you just never know. You never know. So that leaves Croatia, Albina with TikTok, the most modern Croatian entry in years. There's also some lyrics in Croatian, which is really welcome. Albina, very confident. This is a very sassy sort of song with a very sort of striking beat, for want of a better phrase. You know what I mean. It's growing on me. I'll never love it, like the Norwegian song, but I'm appreciating it more and more. It's very catchy. It's a sort of diva-ish sort of song, almost, as well. Yeah, if it goes through, I won't be mad. If it misses out, I won't be mad. It's in that stacked second half of the first semi-final. It's inevitable that we will lose a big fan favourite somewhere along the line. Will it be the Croatian entry? People are saying now that Azerbaijan could miss out. Oh, can you imagine the scenes if Effendi doesn't qualify? Goodness gracious me. Of course, if Turkey were involved, that would be many points for Azerbaijan as well. But alas, they're not involved. So yeah, that's it for semi-final 1. What a long, messy video. Let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested to know. Maybe you think my prediction is absolutely rubbish. Maybe you think that I'm onto something. It will change, I'm telling you now. I will hold this up. You're not going to be able to see it terribly well, but I'll give it a good go. So yeah, here it is. So all of the red slips that you can see are semi-final 1. So Malta is up here, Lithuania, Sweden, Cyprus, Romania, Azerbaijan, Ireland, Israel, Norway, Croatia. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then, just to recap the non-qualifiers, Belgium, Ukraine, Russia, Slovenia, Australia, and North Macedonia. This is semi-final 2. This is in the running order at the moment, but I will be making notes and moving these around very soon and doing another video very similar to this one regarding semi-final 2. So, yeah, I've made a few notes. You can't see these at all. But for Malta, for example, I've put the favourite to win, former junior Eurovision winner. For Lithuania, I've put quirky pop song, think Pet Shop Boys. That's what I think of anyway. For Russia, I've put a more traditional type entry. Australia, I've put vocals need to be on point. Absolutely. I know people have said Montaigne's been a little bit shaky of late. But that's it. I'll try and get a bit of a close-up. It's back to front, but I assure you that I've been using this for this particular video. So there we go. Pop that down. That'll go back in the spare room, because I have no room for it in here. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. My prediction at this moment in time, at the start of April, for the semi-final 1 results of this year's upcoming Eurovision Song Contest. Leave comments, let me know your thoughts. If you've got a channel, I'll check it out, see what you've got to say about Eurovision as well. And that's it. I'll be back soon with my thoughts on semi-final 2 and the results there as well. We are just a month away, and isn't it wonderful to be able to say that this year's contest is going ahead? I can't wait. Check out my other social media pages if you so wish. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Hopefully the quality wasn't too bad. Bye for now.